Hello, this is Family Time 193. We're talking about discipline. Discipline falls under our self-management, social emotional learning competency. I really think discipline is at the heart of self-management. It's at the heart of anything we want to accomplish. I want us to define discipline for ourselves, and your definition can vary from mine. But for me, discipline is about sacrificing immediate gratification for the things that I want in the long term, for the larger goals. It's giving up what I want in the moment for what I want most of all, for what I want down the road. So it's really about sacrifice to me. And I think that's the essential question. Anytime you want anything in life, it's what do you really want? And what are you willing to give up to get it? And when I say really want, it's not just an immediate gratification. You know, it's not like, oh, I want ice cream. I want to scroll through TikTok on my phone. I want to not do this homework, whatever. Those are immediate gratifications. But they don't often lead us to where we ultimately want to be. So the question is, what do you really want? And then what are you willing to give up to get it? And if you're not willing to pay the price, you're probably not going to get those big goals. That's an important thing to understand. So discipline is how we go from where we are to where we want to be. And I think sometimes people shy away from discipline because it's not very exciting. Too often we want some singular, big, dramatic act to change our lives. It's often what's sold to us in like movies and things like that is like, oh, this one big grand gesture and it changed everything. And that's very, very rarely the case. Typically, it's doing repeatable, monotonous actions over and over and over and over again. And that, I think, is where people get lost, is well, it doesn't seem very exciting, doesn't seem very fun. But I really do think discipline can be a very enjoyable thing. Being more disciplined in your life, I think, actually leads to more happiness. Yes, down the road, but I do think in the immediate as well. I think of Jocko Willink. He's a former Navy SEAL who has written books and is a speaker and has a podcast, things like that. But he always talks about that discipline equals freedom. And I think that's a great way to think about it. A lot of times we think if we're being disciplined, we're giving up freedoms, right? It's too restrictive. But if you are disciplined, you can design the life that you would like to have, even with your schedule in the immediate. If you go home from school or your extracurricular activities and you have homework that you need to do, it's very easy to sit there with the book open but then get distracted and scroll through our phone, and it takes hours to get our schoolwork done. If we were disciplined about our time management, it would be much better to say, phone is in a different room, it's out of sight, I have my textbook out, I'm going to allot this amount of time to do my homework, and I'm going to hammer through. I'm going to focus on that. Then once I have it done, then I'm going to reward myself. Then you can get out your phone or watch something on Netflix, whatever it is. And then you're really enjoying that activity more because it is sort of a reward. You've accomplished something and you're rewarding yourself a little bit instead of it being a distraction. And it's important to do that in all aspects of our lives. You know, I think a lot of times people will talk to me about workout stuff, whatever. I'm talking to people more my age. And it's like, well, what's a diet that I can do? And what's an exercise program and whatever? And a lot of times my answer is, it doesn't matter a ton as long as you stick to it. As long as you're very rigorous about it. Like there's so much great information out there, and there's a ton of different workouts that'll work and a lot of different diets that'll work. And yeah, you can optimize things as you get deeper into it and find what works best for you. But the important thing is pick something and stick to it and do it over and over and over again. And that's what actually leads to results. That's what builds a positive habit. And that's really discipline to me. So what I want you to think about this week is I want you to think about a time where you've had to delay immediate gratification for a long-term goal, and where you've had to work on something over and over and over again, and then think of the end result. I do want it to be something that where you've kind of achieved, or you've at least made a lot of growth in that direction, where you felt happy about it. You felt proud of yourself, felt accomplished. And that's a much deeper feeling than the immediate gratification of something like our phone or taking in sugar or whatever. Those are sort of immediate little dopamine drips. And they're much more surface level than accomplishing something that we really had to put time and effort into. But those things are much more meaningful. And it's an important stage that you're in right now, a stage in life. And I remember going through this where, maybe people that I hung out with when I was younger would maybe start making different decisions than the decisions that I wanted to make, in terms of, I had goals with what I wanted to do academically and athletically and things like that. And maybe people were making some different decisions socially or in school or whatever. And you have to make the choice of like, okay, is this what I want? Do I want this life of trying to seek this immediate gratification, or do I want some bigger things and I have to sacrifice for those things? And I think that can be a really enjoyable process. To me, I was always like, oh man, I thought being disciplined is kind of cool, for lack of a better term, because it's hard. And I like doing things that are difficult, because to me, it feels like a worthy endeavor. Like I'm trying to do something that's challenging and meaningful. And that to me is about as cool as it gets. Maybe not everybody feels that way, but it's like, yeah, to be disciplined is tough. And to be tough, like to me, that was cool. That's what I wanted to be. And I don't mean like, I say like tough, like not rough, not insensitive, but like to do difficult things. And being disciplined is difficult, but it's also very, very rewarding. So think about that a little bit this week. Until next time, much love.